Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be presenting my intellectual friends, Ernest Boyer and Sean McGuire. So let's start with Sean McGuire. In the movie Good Will Hunting, the main protagonist, played by Matt Damon, is a genius in terms of anything relating to book smarts and mathematics. However, Sean McGuire, played by Robin Williams, is a psychology teacher asked to give Will therapy. Will is incredibly smart, but he's arrogant, and Sean McGuire speaks to him in hopes that he realizes that there's more to being smart, that there's more to life than what you can find that's actually in a book. So he says to Will, "So if I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo? You know a lot about him. But I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You've never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. If I asked you about women, you'd probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. I look at you and I don't see an intelligent, confident man. I see a cocky, scared kid. But you're a genius, Will. But you presume to know everything about me because you saw a painting of mine and ripped my life apart." So basically what he's saying is that Will doesn't know everything about his life just because of what he's read in a book. And Ernest L. Boyer would agree. He was deeply moved by President S.R. Smith's words that he gave at a baccalaureate speech for the college. And he reads, "President S.R. Smith addressed the students of this college and asked them whether they had ever seen a painting the equal of Michelangelo's, who painted the Sistine Chapel. He also asked them whether it had been their privilege to gaze upon the face of a woman as beautiful as the statue of the Venus of Milo." So once again, his point here is that the students that he is speaking to could not have yet fully understood the world because they had not gone out and seen it, touched it, and experienced it for themselves. Okay, so lastly we have our conversation pieces. So the first one is, students must go out into the world and experience things before they can truly have an understanding. Boyer and McGuire would both agree on the fact that you can't fully understand things through books. McGuire made a comment in his speech to Will that he could never understand the depths of Will, because Will is an orphan, and how is he going to understand him just because he read Oliver Twist? Boyer would also agree upon this notion, since he was so moved by Smith's words at the baccalaureate in regards to these students have never actually been to the Sistine Chapel, or they've never seen the face of a woman so beautiful comparable to the Venus of Milo. Secondly is actions for the good of the community versus doing it for oneself. Boyer said that he was troubled that it's possible for teenagers to finish high school and yet never be encouraged to spend time with older people who are lonely, to reach out to a child who hasn't learned to read, or to even clean up litter on the street. McGuire makes no comment on expanding upon or doing these things in terms of a community. It might not be that he doesn't see the value in community, but feels that to learn is more of a self-driven desire. But Boyer thinks it's not about the self, but rather everyone else. And lastly is the intentionality of pleasing God through your actions. So through the movie, it's pretty safe to assume that McGuire isn't a Christian, and Boyer is a Christian. So everything that he does is to please God. Thus he thinks that his actions in going out and experiencing things are all to please God, while McGuire does not. So the intentionality behind Boyer's actions are solely because of his faith, while McGuire's are not, which is why Boyer himself puts more emphasis on community and service and these Christian values. So would they agree in terms of doing things for the service of community as much as doing it for oneself? No, but they both have the underlying thought that you need to go out and experience things. You can't just learn everything in a book. And they're right.